Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. So on my blog, I show you how I made my fortune in real estate, starting at 19 years old, millionaire by 28. And, that was started 39 years ago, and a millionaire, like I say, 30 years ago was my first million, I guess. Anyway, so on my blog, I share with you how I've done it, how I've been doing it. I wrote a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a big seller on Amazon and Kindle. And please check it out if you're interested in real estate. It's the best 10 or 20 bucks, depending on whether you buy Kindle or the hey copy, Josh. You're going to spend. It's just going to be the best money you can spend for the money. There's just nothing as cheap that gives you as much value and information and experience. Okay, it's 39 years. It's a lot of real estate buying. I've bought every year, and I've bought probably as many as 20 properties in a single year. And it's just a lot of experiences, and I share that with everybody that's in here. And hey, Anne Marie and Delia, I'm glad you got here. I know you were looking for when we're going to do the next live show, so anxious to get with you. And of course, I got people in here that have bought my book and have taken my course, and always appreciate that. So give me 1 second here, and we'll get started. All right. So, I was supposed to be on vacation. You guys know that. Well, I got to the airport. Me and my son, we got through security because I have the clear. They look at your eyes and they let you through. But after I got in there, actually, before I went through clear, I realized I don't have my ID. Didn't have my ID. And so I went ahead and went through clear, and I was talking to my son. I said, well, look, son, we got to think this through because we're going to get to Colorado Springs, and they're probably not going to give me a car. And so I called the rental-car company, and they said, yep, we're not going to give you a car. And then I realized, me and my son, I have two boys, twins, but I was only taking one of them this time. He likes to shoot. And so, we'll go rent guns, and we'll go blast the hell out of a bunch of guns at a gun range. And anyways, there's no renting guns either without an ID. So you know what? I said, what do you want to do? You can push it back a week. And so that's what we did. And as soon as I got back home, I got a call from one of my mom's caregivers. And, I have to go through like 500 pills a month. I'm the guardian for my mom. My mom has dementia. And, that's where my ID was in her little apartment. And so anyways, at the senior facility that she's at. So anyways, long story short, I'm going to leave Tuesday. So I'm here. And, everybody's kind of hanging on to real estate. They're holding on tight right now. I even in myself too. It's not that I'm afraid to buy anything. I just don't know that it's the best thing to do right now. A lot of the whole country's going crazy. You got these riots. And city councils that don't do anything about it and just let it get worse and worse. And, just people are really, really getting out of control. Somebody that I know that works at Walgreens said that thieves will go into Walgreens now, or this is one experience she had. And they're holding it, says, I got money, as the person walks out the door and sets off all the alarms with all the crap that she's stolen on her body. And you know what? It's just a shame. It's just a shame because all this rioting, it just destroys dreams. All these businesses are dead and dying. They're not coming back. And guess what? No insurance company is going to insure it again. It's going to need a government bailout just for people to insure it. Nobody's going to insure it, And you people that live in those neighborhoods that do those riots, you are just the biggest idiots there are. You're destroying your neighborhood. You're destroying, you're ruining, you're taking away all the amenities that are in your area. The nice cafe to eat, a place to buy something. You're ruining it all, and you're ruining it for yourself. You're ruining it for your neighbors and your parents and whoever else you're related to. So it's really, really sad. But again, we can talk about some real estate now. So what do you guys want to talk about? I was thinking about a fool and his money are parted, and I was looking at some various videos, Grant Cardone, I'm no fan of. Kris Krohn either. I got Meet Kevin in there too, and I'll just tell you right now, Meet Kevin, I do not consider in the same regard as I do Kris Krohn and Grant Cardone and Kris Krohn, and that's a compliment to Kevin, okay? Because I like Kevin. Kevin, I think he's a fantastic YouTuber, and he makes a lot of money. He's not a great investor by any means, but and that's not uncommon for real estate agents. But But you know what? But he gets out there and he tries, and you know what? He's definitely a success. He's a success. I wouldn't take his real estate advice, but I can tell you, I would take his YouTube advice in a second, and I would certainly recommend him for that. You know, Kris Krohn and Grant Cardone, they're kind of the same thing. You know, every time you listen to their channel, all they do is ask you for money. In the end, it's just asking for money. You don't learn a thing. And I don't think they can teach you a thing, to be honest. I don't think, let me put it this way. What they could teach you, it wouldn't help you much. Because basically what they're teaching you is use other people's money, but they're after your money. They want to use your money. And it's laughable, some of the things that I've seen on there. Anyways, and I know Anne-Marie, you've been on there, or you've took one of them before, and followed, I think Grant Cardone, you said. But anyways, what would you guys, is there anything you want to talk about? How about you? Okay, let's talk about this. Explain to me crowdfunding. Okay, well, it's not that I'm an expert at, but I've actually done a little bit of it. And let's look at some of this. Oh, gosh, we kind of rearrange some things around here. Everything's too small. Bear with me a second here, and we'll get to these questions. Great, what did I do? As usual. All right, I lost the chat. I popped it out, and then I lost it. All right, give me a minute. Okay. All right, let's go with Anne-Marie. Hey, Anne-Marie, I'm glad you're here. You too, Delia, Rui, and Funny Buddy, and Copy Josh, all of you. So let's get to this, though. Okay, crowdfunding, basically you go out there with and pitch an idea, and then you're looking for money. And you can give away some things. They're not. It's kind of like free money. It really is. It's like free money. And I was involved with a couple projects, and really what we did it for was to do exposure, to get exposure to the product more than anything. We didn't need money, but you go in there saying, hey, look at this great idea. You want to, pitch in some money, and you can be one of the first people to get this gadget or this, that, and the other thing. But really, it's the millions of eyes that fall on it that promote your product. That's really the gold. For me, I mean, I saw a guy raise, I think, $10 million for a watch. I think that's what it was. But yeah, go to GoFundMe. That's one of them. And that sort of thing. And yep. Please subscribe and share and subscribe while you're here. If you just got here, this is what we do. I talk about real estate primarily, and I've been buying and selling real estate for a long time, and it's probably what I do best. Is because I've invested in a lot of other businesses, and thank God I had money, because I'm not so successful at other things, but I've been very good at real estate. Yep, Kickstarter. I've done a Kickstarter before, too, for another company. Okay, so let's see. Curtis Kring, HVAC contractor, going to expand to roofing in the fall. Work a lot for investors and managers, and I rather be them than me. Yep, I understand. That's where I was once, too. Or rather be me plus them. Yep. You'd want I understand. They're good role models for you, right? They're good role models for you. If you got people that listen, and this really goes to what I was starting, I'm so millionaire voyeurs, right? Voyeurs. People that just watch. That's why I couldn't stand to watch football. I could never stand to watch football. I can't watch millionaires play football while I'm sitting on the couch. I'm thinking, I'm not making any money. They're making millions, and I'm watching them make millions. It kills me. I can't do it. But but like folks that are in here, you guys are actively trying to make money, right? You see me and you go, oh, I want what Tom's got. I want the skills that Tom got. And so you buy my book and you make an investment like that. And that's smart. And it makes sense to me. And I do stuff like that too. I get skills from somebody else. If somebody's more fit than I am physically, I'll trust them to teach me how to get more fit physically. If they got more money than I got, I'll trust them to maybe teach me how to make some money. Now, I say that in the context of I'm still going to scrutinize anybody that I talk to or anybody I'm going to give money. I never trust anybody that you give money to. But yeah, Kickstarter is pretty much a popular one. So is GoFundMe. In fact, we may kick out an app. I got an app thing. It's a side business. But it I think we think it's got some legs. We'll see. And I'll tell you all about it. Everybody that's already in my email list. And if you don't have my book, get my book. I'm going to push the book. There we go. Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Get a copy. You'll be glad you did. So, all right, let's look at some stuff here. All right, so like this is what I was talking about with Kris Krohn. Kris Krohn, like Grant Cardone, just really self-aggrandizing, and he always starts out with. Let's see here. Let's get this up so you guys see it.
Airport, my friends. I'm on my way to Florida. I decided to partner with Ryan in Asia, and I gave myself a 6-month deadline to see if I could actually buy 5 properties in the next 6 months.
All right. Can you guys hear this okay? Let me know if you hear this, because there's really this, and I actually did a video kind of on this already. You can't hear. Okay. Let's crank it up. Yeah. Okay. Let's crank it up a little bit. It was seemed a little low to me too, actually. All right. Let's try this.
So my team just called me. They notified me literally that we have some amazing deals that just hit the market.
Okay, good.
That have this 25.
Okay, so listen, I've seen this before. I've been in an association where there's partners and things that are, not like associations in a bigger group, right? And I've seen bullshitters come in and say stuff, and I'm like laughing how stupid it is. And then I see other people mesmerized by it. I'm going, what? You guys can't see through this BS? And then, and then I ask a couple of good questions, and all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, what about that? Yeah, what about that? Well, so check this out. Watch a little bit of this, and listen to what he says here.
And I gave myself a 6-month deadline to see if I could actually buy 5 properties in the next 6 months.
Okay, so now he's talking about this great feat. I'm going to see if I can buy 5 properties in 6 months. That's what he just said, right? Well, that's a joke, because he claims to have bought, I think, more than 1,500 a year for the last 10 years or something. He says he owns thousands of properties that he's bought basically with other people's money, makes them their partner. They put the money down, and then they borrow the money, or they co-host a co-loan on it, or whatever the deal is. And in other words, he uses other people's money to buy the property. They share the risk, and he gets a piece of the profit. Well, that's fantastic. You can buy anything. You buy stuff below market that's not even worth what it's worth. That's worth more than you're paying for it. And eventually, guess what? It will be paid off, and you will own a part of it if you're Kris. And if you're his partner, then you'll own a piece of it when you could have bought it by yourself. And that's what's so silly. But the other thing what's so crazy is so look at, he talks about he's going to Florida, and listen to what he says.
My team just called me. They notified me literally that we have some amazing deals that just hit the market that have this 25% plus ROI that we're talking about. So I got to get there. I'm actually going to get Ryan on the phone. I'm going to FaceTime him. I'm going to walk him through the deal.
And here we go. And he gets in a nice car. Again, it's always, usually with him, it's about the lifestyle. That's what they do. They throw you the lifestyle, the cool car, it's a beautiful setting he's got there. It looks like a nice place. Colorado, I assume. I think that's where it's at. Again, has nothing to do with making money. But what's really silly about this is that he goes to Florida, right? And he buys a home, a brand new home, okay? He's worried about how is he going to buy 5 houses in 6 months. And then he goes to Florida and he buys a brand new home. It's in a tract of homes. He could buy 5 right there on the spot. You follow me? And people, it just goes right by people's head. They don't even get it. It's so silly. And so, anyways, but again, and look. So let's see if that's my mom's dog there, by the way. Let me get this going here. All right, so Kris's model, basically, from what I've seen, from what I gather, from what I've seen him, is get people to invest with him or be his partner, use their money, okay? And I'm going to make a square because this is really how it kind of is, okay? He always talks about ROI, right? Return on investment, okay? So you come in and you put 25% down, and they say, what is the return on this 25%? Not on the overall risk, not on all the money that you borrowed, just on this, okay? Well, that sets the bar really low right off the bat, okay? And especially when you've got the risk of everything else, okay? So you go in and you become his partner, and from what I gather, I'm not going to say this is gospel or 100% true, but from what I gather is basically you put the money down, you buy the asset, then say this is the total asset, and then you get your return is based on this 25% you put down that he's talking about. Okay, but the money is here, right? This is where the money is, right? This is the big money, and I'll explain. If I'm getting, let's just say I'm getting a 10% return, okay, on a, and so these people are going to get a 10% return, let's say, on this 25%, and then you get another 10% return on this other, which makes up the other 75% of the asset, right? Well, if you're borrowing this money here, these three squares, if you're borrowing that, let's just say it's 4%, okay? Well, that means you're making 6% on 3/4 of the asset. But over here, you know what I mean? In other words, you could very well be making nothing. You could be making 10% on this, and then the rest of this that's where the other people's money thing comes in. Because this is where I make all my money. I put my 25% down, and if I make 10% on this, I make 6% on the other 3/4, okay? And so when you do the math on that, the money made is much greater on this, on the borrowed money, than it is on the cash. Usually it's like 1.5 times. In other words, if I make 50,000 here, I'm going to make 75 a year on this. But anyways, again, stuff goes by people. And Grant Cardone's the only really difference that I've seen between Grant Cardone and Kris Krohn is Kris buys residential property with other people's money, and Grant buys apartments with other people's money. But the worst part about it is when you invest like this and you put your money down on something like that, your money's gone. It's tied up. It's not in your control. It's in control of somebody else. So you may just say goodbye and your money's tied up for the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years. I don't know the exact details, but you don't have any control. And that is the worst part. You can't borrow money against it. The banks won't really recognize that as a good asset. They really won't, because you don't have control over it. But if you own the whole asset, and if you bought it by yourself without Kris Krohn, or you bought it without Grant Cardone, you would have full control over it. You'd have the power to sell it. You'd have the power to borrow money against it, and all that sort of stuff. And what's funny is people wonder why I talk about this stuff. Well, one of the reasons is every time I do talk about Grant Cardone or Kris Krohn, is I get a lot of people join my channel. Bunch. It's, even Meet Kevin. So I know that there's a certain percentage of people that follow these guys that are truly interested in making money. They're not just voyeurs. They're not just money-making voyeurs, okay? And there are people out there that just want to watch other people, and I understand. If that's your entertainment, that's great. But if you want to make money, if you want to be involved with it, that's the people I'm looking for, people that really actually want to try and make money. And so that's why I do this, because I always get I get a lot of subscribers off these guys because they have an audience following it, and a small percentage of them are serious about making money. But that's what I do. So I'm sorry, I keep talking. Let's go on here a little bit more. Book is amazing, great video content. Oh, thank you. And great, Dimitri. Glad you're putting the course to use. Vito Frank, bought an investment house with my two sons, 24 and 19. Nice. Not making a lot of money, but just wanted to get them started. Hey, you know what? It's just math, right? And some people don't do the math like they should, in my opinion. But you do the math, okay? Listen, you can get rich slow. You can buy stuff and own it, and it can appreciate over time, and you're going to pay it down over time. I mean, as long as it pencils at the end of the month, and you can, and I'm saying this to make you feel better about your asset, to be honest, but I buy under market. Everything I buy under market. I always buy at least 25 to 30% under market, because I've seen real estate values go down, and that's my hedge against getting hurt, is I buy stuff under market, and I make that margin almost immediately because I flip it right away. And now, don't get me wrong, I have over 100,000 square feet of rentals, and I manage those, and I have great cash flow, and I can, that'll sustain me and my family and my family's families, okay, long after I'm gone. But that's where the money is. It's in owning it yourself and making a good decision and buying it right. So what you got to do, Vito, is look at your asset, and then you ask yourself, would I buy it for what it's worth? You figure out what it's worth and what you can sell it for. And now, would you buy it for that? Because if you don't sell it, you're buying it. And I say it all the time. If you're not selling it, you're buying it. And I'm faced with that right now. I got a building. Somebody just offered me $1.6 million. It needs a $200,000 roof. And so basically it's like $1.8 million, but they're paying for the roof. And do I want to sell it? I mean, I'm making $93,000 a year off that property. So do I want to keep it? Well, right now I can't invest $1.6 million right now. I mean, I haven't been able to find anything lately where I can invest $1.6 million and get a $93,000 return. I don't know why. It's tougher than usual right now, and I think a lot of it is just all this riot BS and all this. I think people are truly afraid that the country's just going to hell, and I'm a little concerned about it. But fortunately, I don't have any properties in these riot-ridden areas. But I can't even imagine how horrible that would be to have a piece of real estate. Your insurance would go through the roof. Place could be burned down, busted up. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And look at Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone and his apartments. Let's talk about that a little bit. There's me, Kevin. So Grant Cardone, he's giving some spiel here on this evictions and commercial real estate. Well, and I looked at about 30 seconds and skipped ahead. There wasn't much in there. We can look at it if you want, but the bottom line is. Those apartments, like prime area, you buy real estate in New York, guess what? New York's got 15,000, I think 15% of the people have moved out of the apartments there. They're not living there. I mean, why would you go to New York if you can't have any fun? They've got the place locked down. You can't eat any of the great food. Can't go to the shows. All the venues are closed. It's really stupid. It's just so stupid. But anyways, that's my opinion anyways. So let's look at David. How do you ensure that there are no foundation or other major problems when buying a deal quickly? Walk the property. Listen, that's a good question. Listen, if you have a brick exterior, just walk all the way around and look at the foundation, okay? Because typically this is what happens. If the foundation breaks like this, just breaks even a little bit, it'll separate the brick all the way up. In fact, look at my I've already flipped that property too and made some money on it. I bought it, I don't know, a year ago or less, probably a year ago. There's one, you'll see I did a bunch of brickwork. And the foundation had settled, and it kind of just cracked here and there, and I tore out the bricks and re-put them back in. But I determined that it had settled enough, and I actually dug under, and what you can do is, and I'll go back to the iPad here just for a sec. And this is stuff, you want to be really careful about buying property that has foundation issues, but what happens is, so here's your foundation at the bottom of the house, right? And then let's say here's the house, and you guys know what bricks look like, right? Bricks are like this, and they're every other, I don't want to get too fancy here, but that's what happens. So what happens is, here at the foundation, when you get a crack here, well, this one's going down or this one's going down, right? Or in some cases, one might be going up, depends if it's expansive soil. But either way, it's just for this, just say that this one's dropping. Well, when this drops down, okay, this is going to crack. It's going to follow this crack. And so what happens is it'll usually follow a grout line, right? A joint, and it'll crack all the way up to wherever, and then it's more, it'll have a wider gap here than down here, because like any crack, right, it goes like that. So you can go in here and you can put a mud jack, have them come in here and pump concrete, and it'll push this up. Or if it's stabilized, sometimes it's easier, just dig down underneath here and just get down to bedrock down here at the bottom, right? Oh, you can't really see that. Let me see what I can do to make this easier for you to see. Ugh. All right, you guys know I'm not not an audio video tech. So look here. Sorry, and here you're not even seeing the examples. So here's your foundation here, right? So it cracks here, and then it breaks up here through the brick. Separates the brick. Then it's because this is going down, or this is going down. But that's what's making that crack. So the things that you can do are down here. If you can see down here where I'm pointing with this, make that an arrow. You can dig down to bedrock here if it's kind of settled already, and you can fill this with concrete. And you could do like if this was the house, I might put concrete under the slab here and here and here. If there's a crack here and there's a crack here. Anyways, or you can get a mud jack and they can pump concrete in the ground and do more or less the same and raise it, or just make it so it won't drop anymore. But that's one of the things you can do, Dave. All right. But again, if you don't feel comfortable, don't touch it. If you can, you can have a foundation company will come out and they'll say, there'll be no more settling. And it might be cracked all to pieces. I've seen brick walls that they've been repaired so much that normally it'd be like perfectly straight, right? But it's actually broke out, and it's like a wave going up. It's not pretty. All right, what else we got? So does Delta? What did you want to talk about? Did you have a question specifically, or are you just? Oh, you said, Rui, you still there? Talking about the Cabernet. I'm not sure if you're talking about wine. I do like cabs, but yeah. I do like cabs. Okay, yeah, Delta. Well, what I can tell you guys right now is that I feel like. I just feel like everybody's hanging on to their properties, like almost like I think just the stuff is getting to people, I don't get me wrong. I mean, the under $300,000 homes are doing well. They still seem to be holding their own. It's because the interest rate's so low. The interest rate went so down so far that if you qualify for a loan, the bank will give you a loan, and if they feel good about your working situation, anyways, and and I just got another line. I got a line of credit. That's just so I can have it if I need it, and I've already been hoarding cash from the last several sales that I've made. So I'm hanging on to my money. I really am. I'm hanging on to my money, and that's a little bit unusual for me. And it's not because I think there's like great deals coming, and maybe there is. I don't know. I mean, I don't pretend. I don't just shoot from the hip and tell you guys, oh, here's my, the economy's going to crash or it's going to get better. I can tell you the economy was great before this pandemic, and I could think that if we keep the current president, I think it'll continue to be great. But when you got all this rioting in all these primarily Democratic, all these cities that are gone to hell are Democratic run. They're all run by Democrats, and if they take power, who's gonna if they're refusing help? The riots are there. The riots are in their cities. I don't see that it's going to get better. I don't think there's anybody to clean it up. And so that would concern me. It just, I know a lot of people that this is it. They're decided to retire early. Myself, maybe one of them. So, I got plenty of property. I got plenty of stuff. I can kind of fine tune. And that's one of the things I'm doing is I'm going through about the 120, 130,000 square feet that I keep all the time. And I'm putting new roofs on, and, I'm just taking care of the details. You'll see that's why I got my landlord life. If you watch that stuff, you're going to see me just keep fine-tuning the properties that I have and or fixing up and flipping the houses out or selling off the rest of my houses. Oh, Rui, you sold it. Wow. That's fantastic. Wow, that's great. So Rui here was trying to decide whether to hang on to his property and make $450 a week, or just sell it. And he thought he had about $30,000-$40,000 equity in it, that he was going to make. And I was saying, just sell it, just take the cash, because if you can take 12,000 and turn it into 32, then you can probably take 32 and turn it into 90 or 120. There you go. That's why you own some Cabernet, huh? Nice. All right. So that's great. That's great, man. I'm glad to hear it. So you sold it. I told him he should sell it. And, again, that's what I would do. I'm not saying anybody should. That was what I told him what I do. But he sold it. That's great. I think he did the right thing. And, thank you. And now just do it again. I mean, that's what I do. I just buy, sell, have more money than I started with, do it again. And just keep building that seed capital. And pretty soon you'll have so much extra cash, then you can go ahead and buy something to hang on to and rent. And then, pretty soon that'll be paid for, and then do it again. And then, you got two folders. You got your flipping folder, right? Your flipping stuff. And then on your other folder, you've got your investment income stuff that have income rolling in. And that's what I do. It's really simple. It's really, really simple. But you just got to keep doing it. And yep, bird dogging. Yep, that's it. So what else? Okay, so look, so here's Kevin. I actually did a video I hadn't even produced yet out. I hadn't put it out yet on this one on Kevin. And Kevin's talking about, I'll show you guys this. Here's me, Kevin. So, I know I'm jumping around on subjects, and just tell me if you want to do something else. So Delta, you says you're trying to find good deals in your area, but I know I'm a little bit frustrated myself, to be honest. But we're going through times that we really haven't seen before. Just the people are just going crazy. They just can't deal, and it's just a shame. It's just a shame, because they're just destroying some cities that would otherwise be quite nice. And Seattle's gone to hell. Portland's gone to hell. Even Minnesota's gone to hell. I don't know if you've seen, oh my God, Minnesota's got a mess. Unbelievable, Unbelievable how bad places have gotten that never used to have these troubles. But, okay, so Meet Kevin did this thing, should you buy a duplex? And I already did a video. I'll put it out here eventually. But in the end, he has a wrong conclusion. He's trying to say which is better, house or this, or which one should I, and he makes the wrong decision. But that's because he makes enough money he can support a bad real estate investing habit, okay? And again, like I said, I like Kevin. I think he's a good YouTuber. I don't think he's a good investor, but I think he's a nice kid. And I don't think he is a con man like I might consider, these other two guys. But I think he makes his money off of YouTube revenue, off of advertising. He brings in advertisers, and he earns that money. He makes a lot of it, but he earns that money. And he's not scamming anybody, okay? He's not scamming anybody. He's not selling anybody a bad deal or what I think is a bag of goods. And he's not using other people's money to buy his assets. He's buying his own. And so I respect him for that. And so like I say, I've got his name in there with other two guys that I really don't particularly care for, but again, for different reasons altogether. So let's see what else. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? I really just wanted to make an appearance more than anything today, because I didn't plan on being on here all week, and now I'm probably going to be gone all next week. Yeah, Delta, where are you at, by the way? What city are you in? I mean, I guess I know. You're in my class. Hey, Miguel, how you doing? Oh, you're in Houston. Okay. Well, I mean, Texas is doing well. Texas is doing well. I have some Texas assets for sure. And are you looking at commercial, or are you looking at houses, or are you looking at land? What are you looking for? Have you focused on, what's the neighborhood you're focusing on? Because I think it's a great time right now. I mean, if you're focusing on houses, the reason, folks, I like to buy in good times is because things are really not too bad. And the under $300,000 homes, okay, they maybe got a little bit of drop, but it's really, they're doing fine. They're doing fine. I mean, I see values going up a little bit under $300,000 homes, and so even after this things things have kind of gotten back to normal. People going back to work. No, people think. Well, it depends. Let me explain. So Rui says, "Oh, Texas is a low tax state." It's not a great real estate investor state, and I'll tell you why. The property taxes are very, very high. They're almost triple what they are in California. Okay, no, but the difference is we don't have the state tax. Okay, the state tax is zero here. Okay, where in California I think it's like 13% now, and New York, it's other places are horrible. But again. I personally would rather pay 8% income tax than pay the triple property tax that compared to California that you have to pay in Texas on some things. Have I ever heard of investor Noelle Randall? No, I have not. But we can look him up. Is he on YouTube? Oh, well, it is a woman. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, you're in Connecticut. Demetrius in Connecticut's taxes here. What property or the state? Because like I say, we got zero state taxes in Texas, but the property taxes are ridiculous. I mean, just nuts. She's female. Yep, see that. What did you think about the Fed saying rates stay low till 2023? Well, I hadn't even paid attention, to be honest. I didn't know the Fed said that. But I mean, it's good. It's good. I mean, if you could count on them, it would be nice. But again, if the rates bump up in between, you could be caught holding a bag of goods. Your property won't be worth as much if they raise the rate. And they got they're not obligated to keep them down. They're just not obligated. They can do whatever they want. Just how it works. Property taxes, second highest on property tax. Yeah. I don't know. Let's take a look at this gal. Is there any particular one you want to watch? Well, let me see. Let me get this book out of the way. That's my book, by the way. All right. Zero to multi-million. All right. Well, that's an interesting one. You want to watch that? You guys want to take a look at this or not? Have you looked at her yet? Oh my gosh, where is my damn mouse? All right, let's go here.
How to create multiple streams of income online. The internet has created so much opportunity for almost anyone to start a business, start making money, and have money coming into them day or night. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it, give you some smart ways that you can get started today. Let's go.
Is she a real estate person or what?
I'm going to share with you.
Okay, I got your note to not loud enough.
Making money with multiple streams of income and how to get $10,000 per month going today. I'm going to share with you a step-by-step, very detailed way on how to get multiple streams of income fast. And I'm going to share with you my dirty little secret on how to go from zero to multi.
All right. I don't know. Obviously, it's a little early to judge, but sounds pretty darn good, which usually means there's, listen, I tell you, you can make money in real estate, and you can, but it's not necessarily easy. There's work. And she didn't say it was easy yet, so let's crank her up to 1.5 times, right? Okay, let's.
Millionaire in just a short amount of time. So the first thing that you need to know is multiple streams of income is going to change your life. I literally feel like I was late to the party that had started and there were already people dancing and partying when I finally found out how to create multiple streams of income. And the one thing that you need to know though, it is definitely not difficult to do. However, you need to be very deliberate and start to think about where different streams of income is going to come from. Because the benefits of multiple streams of income is that if you have one stream and it stops, for example, you have other streams to take its place. Most of us, if you were like me, how I ended up back in my parents' basement, bankrupt and foreclosed upon, is that I did not have multiple streams of income. My main source of income, of course, was my job. I worked for someone else. I worked as a mortgage underwriter, and I was flipping houses on the side. So the flipping houses on the side was supposed to be my second stream of income.
All right, you guys can hear that, right? Everybody good? I mean, listen, I'm a firm believer in I call it an engine, right? That's what I used to always say. Get your engines going. Like, you get your job. Okay, good. We'll keep playing it. But I do believe in multiple forms of income, if you can. I mean, like, first of all, I tell anybody, I tell my kids, get a skill, get a trade. My boys are trading stocks, and they're getting really good at it, and they feel really strongly they're going to be successful at it. And I just watch, and okay, well, we'll see what you do. But, you get an engine, get a skill, okay, whatever it is, get a skill, make some money, and have that skill to rely on, and then get your part-time income going, right? Your part-time income is this buying and flipping real estate. For me, that's what it is, right? Then pretty soon, your part-time income far exceeds your full-time income, and then at that point, you can give it up. You can quit your full-time job and do what that makes the most money, which is your part-time. Then go full-time on your part-time income if you want. So, all right, let's go. Let's keep going with Noelle.
Income, but unfortunately, because I did not know what I was doing, it really was just a liability. And when I lost my job, I couldn't pay for those houses, and I lost all of them. That is a big mistake, and I do not want you guys to walk down that path. Fast forward to where I am now. I have over 20 streams of income. Most of them are passive.
Okay, so she kind of dissed the real estate, it sounds like. So I'm not sure. I'm happy to say I don't have any bad stories like she just reported. It always is interesting to me when somebody says, I lost everything. And I can't even imagine losing everything. I just can't. I mean, I'm so compartmentalized, it would be really impossible. I mean, it would have to be deliberate. I would have to deliberately destroy my values and assets. I couldn't do it if I wanted to, fast even. Anyways, let's listen to what she has to say.
Money just comes to my accounts in different ways and from different places, but it's all from this one activity. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do this, how to get this set up, so you never end up back in your parents' basement, bankrupt and foreclosed on like I did. So the first thing that I realized that I needed to do when I was, destitute in my parents' basement, I realized that I needed to create multiple streams of income. Kind of while we were down and we were poor and just not doing well, I really had a lot of time to think. And I started just analyzing my life and some of the things that I had messed up and where I had went wrong. And one of the things that I realized that I was relying too heavily on was my job. Honestly, once we got laid off, both me and my husband worked at the same company. We got laid off at the same time. We literally had no income. We had no other streams of income, and we had all of our same bills. It was awful. And so when I was in my parents' basement and just kind of licking my wounds, realizing that I had really messed things up, I started to realize, okay, what do I want to do with myself? What do I want to do with my life? I started going to different meetings and just kind of just dabbling and seeing what was out there. I ended up at a real estate investor association meeting, and I found a coach that started teaching me about wholesaling. But it really wasn't wholesaling that changed my life. Yes, it is wholesaling that kind of got me out of my parents' basement, but it was a concept that he taught me about being a problem solver. One of the keys to making multiple streams of income is being a solution to people's problem. So when he was teaching me wholesaling, more importantly, he taught me how to market to people that were having a property problem, how to find people that were in foreclosure, bankruptcy, divorce, basically people that were like me and had lost things or were losing things, and try to help those people and make money in the process. I didn't even think it was possible, but I was wrong. You literally can help people that are in a bad situation, get out of that situation, and make money in the process. And I'm going to tell you how to do that and create multiple streams of income while you do that. So the way that I created my niche and how I started making a lot of money using the information that my coach taught me is I use my real story to help people. Like I said, I had multiple foreclosures. I had filed bankruptcy. I lived in my parents' basement. I was a mess. But what I had learned is what happens when you get foreclosed on. And so one of the things that I was able to bring to the table and how I was able to make so much money is because I was able to explain to people what happens during foreclosure, how terrible it was, how the sheriff comes to your house and takes your stuff and throws it outside, just all of these awful things that happens to you. So it was very embarrassing for me. The neighbors knew that we had got foreclosed on. It was basically a very bad situation that I wanted to help people avoid. So I told them my real story, just like I tell you my real story. And what I realized is people really connected to my real story and realized that I had been through something and I could teach them how to not go through that. So there were mistakes that I made. Again, you don't have to just sell your successes. You literally could fail at something and teach people how to avoid that and still make money. So from that one thing, just telling my story, getting back into real estate, the things that my coach had taught me, I started monetizing all of those things. And let me tell you, all of the streams of income I created doing just that. So my multiple streams of income, I literally have books that bring me in money. I wrote a little book and I kind of just tell people what it is. I tell people how I changed my life, what happened. I give you everything in that book and I teach you how to start investing in real estate. So I get money money from my books. I get money from YouTube. I make a show on YouTube. I teach what I know. I tell people about my experiences, and they like what I watch, and YouTube pays me money just for people watching these videos. Go ahead, I'm gonna plug it right now and tell you, go ahead and click that like button. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so I can keep bringing you more content, and so YouTube can pay me money.
Subscribe to my channel.
To this as a podcast, I get money. I have my podcast on YouTube and Spotify and all these other places, and I get money from that. I have my real estate. Because I actually invest in real estate and it's something that I teach, I have long-term rentals and I have short-term rentals, Airbnbs. I make money off of that. I've been able to create courses teaching people what I do. That's a stream of revenue. I have affiliate accounts. So all of the things that I teach you where I'm like, okay, go here to check your credit. Those people pay me, okay? Literally all of the stuff that I do and all the things that I...
All right. I mean, she's a YouTuber, okay? Plain and simple, she's a YouTuber. She says a wholesaler, but let's take a look at underneath here what her links are, or what her multiple streams of income are from, right? Am I going too far here? Jeez. All right. What am I missing? Okay, here we go. Show more. All right. Oh, she's got it kind of chapterized. Okay. Get your free training here. Resources. Check out my real estate crowdfund. Let's check that out. Okay. A totally new approach to real estate. Okay. 239,000 committed. Pre-money valuation. Wow, this is interesting. You guys watching this? I guess you are. Yeah, so I don't know. This is your crowdfunding right here. Anne Marie, you were asking about crowdfunding. That's what she's doing right here. She's got a 74, probably was a 90-day deal. That's why it says 74 days and 9 hours left. Minimum 10K, maximum 1,070. No, what? $1 million? 700,000. Wow. Okay. Well, here, let's check out the pitch. Oh, God. Okay. All right. All right. So this is what it says down here. It says, Norton Incorporated is the next generation in residential options, a disruptor like no other. Norton provides total freedom for those who are seeking a life where they can live where they want, when they want, with no strings attached. In addition, customers Norton can add a new income stream to their lives that once seemed improbable or impossible. A Norton rental property can be listed on Airbnb or the myriad of other similar websites by the Norton renter, even though they don't own the property. What that they're living in. Norton will even help in rental customers in their homes, teach them how to do it. Well, I guess I just have to see what's in it for them, right? Why would you do that? I don't know. Gosh, what do you guys want to do? You want to keep watching? It's up to you. I'm not interested, but I'll watch it for you guys. Here, let's see how long this thing is. Okay, is that a minute? Golly, I'm getting old. All right, here's a minute. Let's watch this pitch.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from the hit TV
Thank
show
you, Ann. We're
Shark
good.
Tank. You're about to learn about a major new development in the world of real estate. Now, everyone's heard about Airbnb and huge growth of the home sharing industry, but now for the first time, you can own a piece of hundreds of properties that are working with the Airbnb platform to generate monthly rental income that is 200 to 300% higher than typical results. Do you have to buy properties yourself?
That's kind of
or find
ambiguous.
tenants? No. Are you required to invest thousands of dollars? No. Sounds impossible, right? Well, all you have to do is simply learn what one nationally known entrepreneur has discovered and now applies. Get ready to be totally surprised. Be part of a group of real estate early adopters that are entering the explosive world of home sharing.
That didn't tell me a thing. Okay, I don't. That didn't tell me a thing about what they got going there. Does anybody know what they do? I listen, and I don't know how Noelle is connected to this, other than she, I just clicked on it from her YouTube. But that kind of pitch is the worst, okay? It's ambiguous. It was not specific. It's far 200% better than typical. What's typical? What are they saying is typical? And again, no details whatsoever. And what, you're supposed to pitch in money for that? Are you kidding me? That's the worst pitch I've ever seen. Okay, Noelle Randall is about growth. She has been a thriving entrepreneur for over 20 years and is a successful real estate investor, renowned mentor, author, speaker. Her diverse business experience has been instrumental in her personal success, as well as success of countless real estate professionals. All right, I'd never heard of her before, but it doesn't mean she doesn't have a lot of money. I mean, she could be an amazing investor. There's a lot of good investors. I mean, I'm a good one. Nobody heard of me till I created a YouTube channel. But anyways, I don't know. To be honest, I don't. If you can't spit out what you're doing and what you have for sale, I mean, like in a minute pitch, that's called the elevator pitch. That's the elevator pitch, right? You just get to the damn point and say what you do, right? Just like I do the elevator pitch all the time. Here's my book. Buy my book. I have a mentorship. If you want it, buy it. If you don't, that's fine. Hang out and watch for free. It's pretty simple, okay? It's the ones when they say, oh, go to the links below. Go to the links below, and let us get your phone number so I can have my salesman solicit the shit out of you, because that's kind of how it goes. So let's bail out of this thing. Let's see what else she's got. Invest with Nerez. I guess that's what kind of the same thing, right? Oh, boy. No, listen, she might have a lot to offer in how to avoid foreclosure or how to deal with foreclosure, since she's been through a foreclosure. And, and I'm sure that experience is helpful to people that have had to deal with it. That was, this Nerez thing is just not very detailed, and you got to get to the damn point if you're going to sell something, is what I would say. So let's look here. Oh, yeah. Guys, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, please. It's like a family in here right now. I think everybody's already done that. But, yeah, not for me either. Listen, I don't want to invest with anybody. I want to, me, myself, and I, right? And I want to hold the reins. And, and that's what I suggest you do. And that's what you do with my book. You get my book, and you're in charge of your own stuff, right? You're in charge of your own destiny. You got nobody to blame but yourself. A lot of people actually enjoy, they feel secure if they hand their money to somebody else and the money gets pissed away. They don't have to take responsibility for it. They just have to go, yeah, well, they ripped me off. Well, I don't want that story. And nobody's ever going to rip me off, because I can make a mistake and lose money, but nobody's ever going to rip me off. Tom G, what other guru gives you a personal phone? Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I don't answer my phone. You guys know I take text only, and then I'll call you back. But unless I know if I recognize your number. And Tom G's in the class. He knows. Which, it's great. I know everybody that just went through this last class, everybody's going to be so much better of an investor than they've ever been. And look at Rui. Rui, we got to have you on the show. Look, Rui, what am I doing? I got to get a testimonial from you. Let's schedule a Zoom, and you just made $32,000. I want to take credit for it if I can, if I helped you make it. But like I said, it's these transactions like this, like the one Rui just made. He made $32,000, and I think he did it with $12,000. So he pretty much tripled his money, and not in a year, but in a month or two, right? It only took you a month or two, and now do it again, and that's the easiest way. So let's see, how long we've been talking? Can somebody tell me? I don't know, but we could probably. Let me look. All right, let's see. We have been on for, and I still can't tell. Oh, damn near an hour. We got about, let's say 6 minutes, we'll hit an hour. What else you guys want to talk about? 5 weeks, so check it out. Rui, that's fantastic. Yep. You got to write a testimonial for me. Send me a testimonial. I'll put it on the site, and you can whether you attribute it to the class or the book or whatever you tell me, and then we'll get you on the if you want to do a Zoom, it'd be great because just like I forget the guy's name, Trinity or somebody was in here earlier. He was wondering if it applies in the Philippines, and I appreciate you. It was Dimitri. No, it wasn't Dimitri. Anyways, but you know what? It doesn't matter. If you can buy property, I don't care what country you're in. If you can buy and resell property, my book is it'll be worth it to you for sure. No question. It's all applicable. There may be a little bit different means of closing your deals as far as whatever stuff you got to go through, but it's all the same. Like I say, I liken buying real estate to buying and selling cars, right? You go to the DMV and they process the paperwork. Well, it's the same thing. You go to the title office and they say, here's the property, here's your debt, here's the lien holder, and that's how it works. So please subscribe and if you like what you hear, you can see more. You can go to my website, FlipAnything USA, and been doing it a long time. And I enjoy sharing. I enjoy teaching. And, in fact, I don't know if I'm going to keep teaching all the time. I'm going to hold up my obligations to the class, of course, and I'll do some more Zoom stuff. But I just want to. I'm going to do whatever I want. That's kind of the beauty. I'm at that age where I can just kind of do whatever I want. Meaning, I've had the income to do a lot for a long time, but my kids are growing up. I'm going to be an empty nester pretty soon. So I'm looking to I can my boys are going to be out of high school pretty soon. So and those are my youngest. I have 4 kids, and the other ones are getting through college this year. The last one is going to college. The boys may go to college too. I don't know. But either way, I'm free to play. I'm free to travel or do whatever I want. Now I got to figure out if there's something I want to do besides what I'm doing right now. So I don't know. I'm figuring it out. All right, let's see. Lucky one. 11 homes came up for sale, a half-mile radius in my area. Well, that's good. I wonder why that is. Why do you think that is? Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah, well, I'll keep doing the channel, for sure. Let's see. 11 homes. Yeah, but, well, I don't know. You guys know FlipMan, right? So FlipMan, he brought me a property that he says, hey, man, check this out. I think it was FlipMan on this one. And, well, I looked at it and I said, here's the problem, FlipMan. Everything around it is owned by the bank. Everything. So when you, and it's really weird if you'll pinpoint a property on the map, right? And then you're looking and just about everything around the property in the whole neighborhood is owned by a bank. In other words, something devastated the area and everything went back. And it doesn't matter if it appears to be a good deal on that one property because everything else that is owned by the bank, they have the power to sell it for peanuts. They can sell it for far less than what was ever owed on it. It's already been foreclosed. And a lot of times they just want to get that stuff off their books. So really, sometimes the last property one is one that's a good deal from an owner when everything else is owned by the bank who can compete with anybody and wipe out anybody. Okay. Yeah. Well, lucky one. I don't. It doesn't sound like you really know why they're selling quick, if they're selling quick, or what the deals are. But sometimes you might find out somebody is, there's a reason. Jobs are leaving, or people are sick of the town for whatever reason. Let's see. Yeah. Like I say, meet Kevin. Look. He's a hard-working guy. I tell you what, he makes his revenue comes from YouTube. Okay, I wouldn't recommend buying his. He's got a class or a course, and I don't think he's got the chops for teaching people how to invest. Because I haven't seen him make any good investments. I haven't seen him make any profits either. I haven't seen him sell anything and realize a healthy profit. So, to me, that's a lot of proof that you know what you're doing is by realizing a profit. If you can show a profit. Okay. Tom, do you think there'll be a lot of bank-owned properties coming up. Yeah, I think so. I think that, let me put it this way. If they don't go back to the bank, I think the bank is going to be very, 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 very patient with those people that can't pay, and they'll probably help them to do a short sale. So the bank may never get the asset, but they may work so that they'll sell it. You know, they'll do basically short sales if things get really bad. Again, I think if we keep Trump, I think then we're golden. I mean, I think the economy's going to be as good as it possibly can be. He's done a really good job with the economy, and that's one of the reasons. You know, and I've held my money before in fear of like a bad president going in, and so I've done that before and regretted it because I didn't expect the debt that they would generate and the Fed printing money, and so you just don't know for sure. But I think no matter who gets in, it's going to take a while for them to screw up all the good things that Trump's already done. Listen, everybody got a tax break, okay? Whether you like him or not, everybody got a tax break. I got employees, everybody got a raise, and it wasn't from me, it's from the tax cut. And that was great. That was great for the little guys, right? It was great for the people that are working. And now, look at the interest rates on your houses. If you want to, if people want to blame, the pandemic on Trump, well, then you can also credit him for 2.8 interest rates right now. That's a hell of a deal, man. That's a great, great low rate. And so anyways, but the bottom line is, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but you can't get hurt holding on to your cash, okay, and waiting for to see what happens. You know what I mean? I mean, normally if you see pending, and I don't know, like I say, I don't know. It's just everybody's kind of holding tight onto what they have anyways. And, it's probably a good time. I'm selling and I'm hoarding cash. I'm hanging on to my cash. I don't know what's going to happen. And, but I'd rather be in a position with a lot of cash and have things go bad, or even if things get great, I'm safe. I know I'll find deals. I don't have to find a deal this month. I can find it in 3 months after the elections, no problem. So I don't feel that sense of urgency to jump out and invest. And you guys heard me use the term before. I don't like the tail wagging the dog, okay? And when I say the tail wagging the dog, that means like you're so invested in, you got so much, you're over leveraged for the times. And that I've been that guy before. I've had, I'm somebody that, I'm like what do you call it? An impulsive, compulsive investor. In other words, obsessive compulsive. I buy. I can't stand to leave money in the bank. So I have to tell myself every day, don't buy anything. I start to look like, I'm going to wait. And so I've kind of really put the brakes right now for me on buying much. And it's not because I don't think I can get a good deal. I've actually gotten a couple of good deals lined up, but I'm going to pass on them right now. Because I really just don't like the way our country, the way it's going in the Democratic-run cities. All these progressive cities, Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, Chicago. You look at it; they're all. There's not a Democrat. There's not one Democrat. There's not one Republican on the city council in Chicago. And Chicago's got, there's like 50 city councils. There's like, so many city councils, and each city council has 8 to 10 members. There's no Republicans. And not that the Republicans is a big thing. There's no conservatives, and they're just. But the bottom line is, everything's crap. Everything's crap. Law enforcement, they defund the police, and then the crime goes up, and then the property values are being destroyed, and everybody's leaving town. New York, they can't even. They're losing so much revenue. It's just pathetic, and it's because they don't run the city correctly. In fact, here I'll show you guys something. Check this out. I'll show you this. This is something that's pretty cool, because I know we're talking about New York City, right? So check this out. Look at that. Here you go. Take a look. That's me. That's me and Rudy Giuliani right there. Okay, and take a look back here. See here, look, that's Don Trump Jr. But That was an event I was at in 2016, and I really enjoyed Giuliani. You know, he really cleaned up New York in a huge way. I mean, it doesn't matter what side, whether you're a left-leaning liberal or a right-wing nut, you appreciate Rudy Giuliani. He cleaned up New York and made it beautiful and wonderful, and now it's going to crap again under de Blasio. And here, I'll show you another. This is not a great picture of me, but here's me and Trump. Okay, that's me and Trump. And yeah, anyways, but yeah, and I'll tell you, I really like Mr. Trump, President Trump. He wasn't president then, but man, when he talks to you, he listens to every word you say, and he looks you right in the eye. And he's responded everything you say, every point. He listens. He really is a great listener, and I'll tell you, that's important. That's really important for a leader. But anyways, let's see what else we got here. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, you got to. Some places you got to keep water around the house to keep the soil kind of expanded, because if it shrinks too much, the opposite can happen. You can have foundation problems for no water, for being too dry as well. We're talking a little bit about foundation problems that came up earlier. See, Garrett Humphrey, how do you know when you can sell above comps in the area? Heard you say before that sometimes you have to dispute with agents about. Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, that's how property values go up. You're always going to go over the comps. So everything comps at 100,000. Are they stuck at 100,000 forever? Of course not. What happens is somebody else is willing to buy it for 105 or 110, and now it's worth 110 because other people start going, hey, well, he can get 110, so can I, or I can get 120 if he can get 110 for that. And that's what happens is people are willing to pay more, and that's why the comps change. And yeah, you're right. I dispute it. I've had agents say, Tom, you're crazy. We can't get 420,000 for this thing, or we can't get 500,000 for this because everything else is selling for 350 or 360. And I'll say, look, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not looking at the property. I mean, that could be because I have a half-acre lot and everybody else has a quarter-acre lot. And I say, look, there's value in a larger lot. And most agents don't recognize that. And and it's not that, it's minimal. Don't get me wrong. You can have a house on a quarter acre and a house on a half acre, and there won't be a great deal of difference. But if you hold out for the guy that extra quarter acre is important for, believe me, it's worth it to him. And the appraiser can justify the extra money for that, just like they could for a pool or anything else. But more property is awesome. I mean, I love land. It doesn't matter if it's a bigger lot or acreage or anything else. What are some of the red flags on houses? Well, we talked about some of them. One is a bad foundation. The other thing is I always take a look at plumbing. Like when it comes to plumbing, one of the things I always do just as a test is I go to the front, pull the hose into the house, stick it into the drain for the washer, and I just crank it up full blast. Or I'll take it from the hose bibs that connect to the washer, the hot and cold, and I'll take those and I'll run them straight down if I have those there. Otherwise, I grab the hose from the front of the house, and hopefully there's plenty of volume of water from the house, at least as much as what you'd have coming out of a washer. But I run it. I sit there and I'll stand there for 15, 20 minutes and just run water down like crazy, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to see if there's any roots or any kind of blockage between the house and the street. And if the water starts to come back and overflow, I'll know I got a problem of some sort. It may not be serious. It may be really serious. You don't know. So that's one of the things I do is I look at plumbing pretty close because it can be a nightmare with this. I mean, I've had to take a house and literally, cut through the slab like about, 18 inches wide from bathroom to living room, across the halls, to every water source and drain there was, and replace all the plumbing underneath the house. Because you can't just dig underneath and get under a house to fix that. You just can't. And it was because, in this case, it was because of the plumbing, the sewer pipe, had just rusted through. It wasn't even PVC. It was cast iron, and that's a nightmare. Okay. Would you buy a property not under market if the terms are really good? Yes. My example, seller asking $185 on a duplex, total rent $1,400, 20% down, $400 a month, no balloon ever. I think you can do better, just looking at the numbers, but again, it's just math. You can calculate it for yourself. But to your question, would I buy a property that wasn't under market if the terms are really good? And if I planned on holding it, yes. If I planned on flipping it and I thought that getting that financing prearranged would be of benefit or of value to somebody else, yep, I'd do it. Watch my restaurant video, right? I got my restaurant video. I negotiated it was either $720,000 or $750,000 note. I can never remember. But I negotiated a note. It might have been 2.5% or 3%. But anyways, I was paying $2,000 or $2,100 a month on a $720,000 loan. That is super cheap. Okay, that's like, it wasn't interest only, but it felt like interest only because the interest was so cheap, so low. And when I sold that property, I bought that property for $750,000, and I flipped it fairly quickly for $930,000. And the only reason I was able to get rid of it and make the money that I made is because in general, restaurateurs, they don't have great credit. I mean, it's a risky business. The banks don't like restaurants much. And so they probably couldn't have got the loan, possibly. They possibly couldn't have got the loan. Maybe they could. I don't know their money situation exactly. But what made it really easy for me to sell was the fact that I'd already had the financing created and in place for them to assume. And that's what happened there. But so, again, they may have been paying a little bit more for it than they wanted to or that they thought they should have. But the easy terms is why it was worth it to them. So in this case, they did it. But I can tell you on other properties, I bought an apartment building one time. I was only offering $320,000 for it. This is a 24-unit apartment building. Mostly one bedroom, some two bedroom, some two bedroom, one bath, one bedroom, one bath. And what I did is the guy said, "Ma'am, my wife will not sell this thing unless we get at least $400,000 for it." And I said, "Okay, well, I offered you $320 at like 7% interest because that was the prevailing rate at the time." And he says, "Well, maybe we can play with the interest rate." I said, "Okay, let me play with the interest rate." And so I think I took it down to like 3%, and then I gave him $400,000. But over the term of the loan, that was worth like $80,000. I was actually making $80,000 more, even though I was basically paying $80,000 more. And when I sold that property, the note that they were carrying, actually I got them to carry a note too. The note that they were carrying at that 3% was so good that I had the property sold, and at the table, when the people are about to pay me off the whole thing, they're going to pay off the note and everything else, I said, "Hey, I'll tell you what, I've got a note you can assume if you give me $30,000. And they looked at it and they go, "Oh, you got a 3%, note on, I don't know, probably $400,000 or something like that." I can't remember how much it was. Probably more like $300,000, something like that. And I let them assume the note, and they gave me $30,000 just for letting them assume the note. And it was really, I just picked up an extra $30,000 at the last minute at the table. It was pretty cool. And as you get familiar and as you get comfortable doing real estate, you're going to think of things that you never thought possible because you're going to be inside. You're going to be inside and seeing how it works and what you can do. And, and like I said, I've made a lot of things happen that I've never seen anybody else do. And some of this stuff that I'm talking about right now is that stuff too. But that's the thing. That's the best thing. You go in there and you're fairly new, you'll think of ways to make things happen that nobody's ever thought of before. And that's the beauty of real estate when it comes to negotiating, especially owner financing. You can make any deal. If you can write it down, you can make that deal happen. As long as the buyer and the seller agree, you can do a lot of stuff that we'd never believe could happen otherwise, like super low rates and that sort of thing. All right, let's see. Alex said, would you buy Alex, whose name on the property insurance in your owner finance deals? You as the buyer and the seller, well, kinda, kind of both, because if I bought the property, I'm going to have an insurance policy, but the beneficiary is going to be whoever I owe the money to. So if it's owner finance, the beneficiary on the real estate deal is going to be, whoever holds the first, right? Because you got to pay off the first. Or rebuild the property so that the first has still got collateral. And normally, like if I carry a note, I'm going to make sure that the person has insurance. In fact, it's a reason to foreclose on them if they don't maintain insurance. Okay, Delta. Is it a red flag when there's a lot of houses selling in one specific area? I mean, I don't know if I would say it's a flag. Sure, I would say so. It doesn't mean it couldn't be a good deal that you're getting, but it would definitely make you think, hey, what's going on here? Why is everybody selling? So I would definitely look more closely at that if you identified something like that. Anything odd should be a red flag. Anything odd. And there may be an explanation, but you should know what it is, right? Because you should never go in and go, geez, something's strange. Let's close. That shouldn't happen. It should be something strange. Why? Figure it out and they go, oh, okay, maybe that's fine. And then you move on. But, otherwise it's too much like gambling. You don't want to sign something without reading the paperwork. You don't want to buy something like that. Why is everybody leaving? If everything's for sale, that's one thing. But if everything's for sale and nobody's buying, that's scary. That's scary. Probably a big plant shut down or something like that. That's what I would think anyways. But hey, I appreciate everybody being here. I'll try to do something else here before I leave next week. But I'm going to call it quits right now. Flip Anything USA. Be sure to get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Let's see, where is that book? Anyways. But so I appreciate you guys watching, hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate all the questions, and we'll do it again here soon. Thanks, Del, to Alex, Rui, and Anna, if you're still there. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll see you.